Hello students, welcome to KENE'S Educare, a group of KENE solutions. This is part 8 of lesson number 14, Natural Resources. So as this is going to be the last part for the lesson, I want each one of you to be thorough with all the concepts that we have studied till this part, okay? Because we are just left with two different concepts to study. That is, one is greenhouse gas effect, and the other one that we have is about the ozone layer, right? And according to me, most of you might be having information on it already, and there's a bit very small part which has been given on both this topic, so we will be discussing on that today. And after that we have the summary discussion for the lesson, and finally we have 6 different exercise questions to discuss, which you are already aware of. In every part I was showing you all the exercise question, and that was for a reason, right? So now you all are aware of the 6 exercise questions, so you are the one who are going to answer me and who are going to attempt those questions and write an answer for it. Okay, so this is what we are going to do in this part. And now, before we proceed with this part of the lesson, natural resources, I want each one of you to please start revising the notes that you have in your book, and please be quick with it, because whatever notes you have taken is very important for you all. It's going to help you at the last moment, because you cannot watch, like you cannot sit watching the videos at the last moment, right? So whatever notes you have made, you have to go through the notes like before your exams. Okay, so please start revising, everyone. I hope every one of you have revised whatever notes you had. Now I'm going to show you all the slides one by one. This is a kind of summary discussion that we are doing. So please go through it properly, everyone. So the first thing that we discussed in this lesson was about the resources on the earth. That is, we have three important resources available on earth. That is lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, right? So I want each one of you to please go through this slide. Then after this we discussed on air, that is also been known as atmosphere, and we studied on the composition of air. So I want each one of you to please go through this slide. After discussing on air, that is atmosphere and the composition of air, we discussed on the role of atmosphere in climate control, and then we discussed on the movement of air. So I want each one of you to please go through this slide as well. After this, we discussed on rain in detail, where we have studied on in detail about cloud formation, right? So please go through it quickly. I hope every one of you are going to this slide that is on rain and how exactly cloud formation takes place, right? After this, we discussed on uh, air pollution in detail. So I want each one of you to please go through this slide as well. After this air pollution, we discussed on water which acts as a wonder liquid and water pollution. So I want each one of you to please go through this as well. After this, after discussing on water which act as a wonder liquid and water pollution, the next thing that we studied was about the soil, and this is most important thing that we have, that is formation of soil, right? So I want each one of you to please go through this slide as well. I hope you all are able to revise this about the formation of soil in detail. Now after this, the next thing that we have is composition of soil and soil pollution. So I want each one of you to please go through it as well. After discussing on this composition of soil and soil pollution, the next thing that we discussed was with respect to air soil erosion, and under this we have even discussed on an activity that is effect of flowing water on topsoil, right? So I want each one of you to please go through this slide quickly. I hope every one of you are going through the activity. Then we discussed on biogeological cycles, and we are almost like we are done with all the four biogeological cycle, right? So I want you all to please go through it quickly. I hope every one of you are going through the water cycle in detail that has been given on screen. On the next slide, we have like more in detail about water cycle which has been given. So I want each one of you to please go through it. So over here we have in brief about the water cycle that has been mentioned. So I want each one of you to please go through this slide. After this is how we are going to draw the water cycle. So I hope you all are going through this as well. After this, we discussed on nitrogen cycle. So I want each one of you to please go through this slide as well on nitrogen. After this nitrogen cycle, this is how you have to draw the nitrogen cycle. And you should be knowing the different processes that are occurring during the nitrogen cycle. Like there are three different processes. We have ammonification, then we have nitrification and denitrification. Okay, so these are the three essential processes which takes place during the nitrogen cycle. After this, we discussed on carbon cycle. So carbon and oxygen cycle are very easy, right? So please go through it, everyone. So this is how you are going to draw the carbon cycle of how exactly carbon is entering and leaving the atmosphere, because this cycle keeps on continuing, right? Then lastly we discussed on carbon's oxygen cycle in detail. So I hope you all are going through this slide as well. After this we have to discuss about the greenhouse effect. So see, we have so many gases which are present in air, right? And we studied that if some harmful gases apart from the normal one, we know that we have 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, then 0.9% of argon and 0.1% of other gases which are present in air, right? If apart from this, like there are certain other gases which are coming and getting added, we call that as air pollution, right? And when it comes to studying about the greenhouse effect, we have gases like carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbon, which we also call as CFCs. Okay, CFCs, that is chlorofluorocarbon. So what these gases like carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbon are going to do is, these gases when present in the air, they are going to trap the heat which has been radiated by the earth and is going to prevent the escape of heat from the earth. So what are they doing? Whatever heat has been generated, like whatever has been radiated on the earth, that heat will be trapped by these gases. Okay, so because of which the increase in the presence of gases, like if carbon dioxide is needed, right, we all are exhaling out carbon dioxide, but the like oxygen gas which is present in the air should be equal to carbon dioxide gas, right? If oxygen available is less and carbon dioxide is more in the atmosphere, that leads to greenhouse effect. And even not only carbon dioxide, even if we have methane and chlorofluorocarbons. Now remember one thing, that this chlorofluorocarbons, they have been released from our air conditioners, refrigerators. Okay, so these gases are present in the refrigerators and air conditioner. So we are contributing to this gases which is causing increase in temperature of the atmosphere. Okay, slowly and steadily what's happening, the temperature of the atmosphere is increasing, and we call this as greenhouse effect. Okay, so greenhouse effect can cause melting of polar ice, increase in sea levels, flooding of coastal areas, and submerging of island. So because greenhouse gas is increasing, the gases like carbon dioxide, then methane, chlorofluorocarbon, because these gases are getting increased in the environment, it's leading to increase in temperature. Okay, so greenhouse effect can cause either like the polar ice will melt, sea levels will increase, and there will be flooding of the coastal areas and submerging of the islands which can take place. Okay, so these are these like you can say harmful effects that greenhouse gas can have. Now, if you can see the picture that has been given, you can see the radiation is absorbed from the Earth's surface, and this radiation is going to increase the temperature, right? So you can see the Earth's surface, atmosphere, and infrared radiation, how IR radiations have been emitted by the Earth's surface. So because of this RI radiation, because it is going to pass through the atmosphere, it will be absorbed and re-emitted in all directions by the greenhouse gas molecule. So as we know, if greenhouse gas molecules are increasing, it is going to lead to increase in temperature of the environment, right? So I want each one of you to please write whatever you feel important on this slide. You can even draw the greenhouse effect that has been shown as figure on slide. Okay. Now after this, the next thing that we have is with respect to ozone layer. So for ozone layer, we have the following information that ozone molecule contains 3 atoms of oxygen. How many atoms of oxygen? Ozone has 3 atoms of oxygen, that is O3. Okay, then it is present in the upper layer of the atmosphere, but it is a poisonous gas. So ozone is a poisonous gas and it is always present on the upper layer of the atmosphere. Where this ozone layer, now we were talking about ozone. Ozone is a poisonous gas, but we have an ozone layer which protects the earth from this harmful UV radiations. UV is ultraviolet radiations from the sun. Now sun even emits some harmful UV radiations which are harmful for us, because there's a hole on the surface of earth because of which the harmful UV radiations from the sun are directly reaching the surface, are directly reaching the earth. So because of that hole, it is becoming dangerous for us, right? So ozone layer is being damaged by carbon compounds like chlorofluorocarbons, that is CFS, chlorofluorocarbon. Okay, and to prevent the damage to ozone layer, we have to reduce the use of the CFCs. Now I told you already, where are we using this? We are using the CFCs in refrigerators, then in air conditioners, and there are 2-3 more products where we keep on using the CFCs. So we need to make sure that we are reducing the use of it so that we are protecting the ozone layer. Now as you can see, some of the pictures have been shown where in 1980, the October 1980, the ozone layer used to look different. Then in 1985 it used to look different. In 1990 it's totally different. The ozone layer is like getting depleted and there's a small hole which is happening, right? So we need to prevent it, and prevention is possible if we reduce the use of chlorofluorocarbons. Okay, so I want you all to please quickly take all the important points from the screen about ozone layer. Okay, so now we have the summary that has been given on screen. So see, life on earth depends on resources like soil, water and air, and energy from the sun, right? So uneven heating of air over land and water bodies, they are causing the wind, which we studied under wind, right? Then evaporation of water from water bodies and subsequent condensation gives us rain. We know while we were doing it for water cycle, we studied that we have two different processes which are very important in the, like, for formation of rain and formation of cloud as well, that is evaporation and condensation, right? And then we discussed on that the rainfall pattern depends on the prevailing wind patterns in an area as well. So various nutrients are used again and again in a cyclic fashion, because of which we had balance between the various components of biosphere. Now various components of biosphere includes lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Okay, so pollution of air, water and soil affects the quality of life and harm the biodiversity, right? So we have to make sure that we are reducing all the three pollutions, because they are having some harmful effects on us, right? So we need to conserve our natural resources and use them in a sustainable manner. Okay, so this is what we have studied till now. So after this summary, we have the exercise question. So the first question that we have is, why is the atmosphere essential for life? Now we have already studied about atmosphere, so I hope that every one of you can write about this, right? Why exactly atmosphere is important for us? So you have to write the answer for this. The second question is, why is water essential for life? You can even write a brief note on it. Then, how living organisms are dependent on the soil, and are organisms that live in water totally independent of soil as a resource? So according to me, like, you can also write a answer on this question, right? Then we will be discussing on, like, you have seen weather reports on television and in newspapers. Do you think that we are able to predict the weather? Okay, and then we have the fifth question as, we know that human activities leads to increasing level of pollution of air, water bodies and soil. Do you think that isolating these activities to specific and limited areas would help in reducing pollution? So you have to even write that, and then at the end we have the last question, that is, write a note on how forest influences the quality of our air, soil and water resources. So according to me, every one of you can now write a brief on all the 6 questions, right? So I will be ending up with this lesson over here. But I hope every one of you have understood whatever has been discussed so far in the lesson natural resources. So everyone has to make sure that we all are completing the exercise question that we had discussed. So make sure that you all write the answers in detail and in brief. I will be continuing with the last lesson in the next part. Thank you everyone.